Hello and welcome to our K through 5 Role Selector training video. After watching this video, you should have a really good understanding of what it takes to select roles in our K through 5 gathering. The gist of this job is that once a month, at the last Sunday that we meet, we select roles within our kids' ministry for the month to come. And your job as the K through 5 role selector is basically going to be to facilitate that process. And you actually take the role of primary decision maker on making decisions about who is fulfilling what role which week. So let me get into a little bit of that, but before I do, I think it's important to note that what you're doing at more of a heart level with this role is you're actually being a bridge of empowerment. So we have these roles that exist for kids to fill, and then we've got this great room of kids. You take them and you are able to basically say, yes, you are empowered to do this. You are the bridge between that. And it sounds simple, but there's actually some challenges that I'll get into with this because it can be a tough spot to make that final call. Specifically, if you've got two kids wanting to do a job and there's only one role left for that month and all of that. So we'll get into a little bit of that. But that's the heart of it. You are the bridge between the kids being present and them being empowered to do what they need to do. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to prepare. And what you do with that is you will get the Google Doc that has all of the roles on it, including the weeks available, and you will be responsible for clearing out all that information and putting in the new dates. It's pretty self-explanatory. When you get the doc, you'll see where the dates go, and you'll see all the kids' names from the previous month that you can erase and get prepared for the month to come. Then you're going to want to make sure that on that final week that you're present there in the gathering, that doc is actually up and ready to be projected whenever it's your turn. What we don't want to do is have you fumbling through trying to figure out where the doc is on the computer and having all the kids wait for 5 minutes or so. Let's just get that set up before the meeting even starts. It can just be a tab that's open that's being projected from the computer at Perimeter 83. All right, once that happens and you are released to begin the role selector process, which will be given to you from the conductor of the meeting, they will be the one that kind of says, I think it's time for role selection. Let's go into that. Once that happens, the first thing I suggest doing is praying. And you're going to want to do this out loud and with the kids. And you can sit there and basically pray for two things. One, you're going to want to pray over the kids that they are being prompted to select the roles that they really sense God is leading them in. In that time, in that prayer time, it's also good to encourage them like, Lord, and if there's like a new role that a kid's never done before, like give them the courage to take that role if it's something they feel called to. Really embrace this opportunity to kind of get the kids prepared spiritually for choosing these roles for the upcoming month. And then you want to pray for yourself. You just turn it over and you say, and Lord, I pray for myself for wisdom to know who to select for what, Lord. And when there's times where there's more the kids that want a role than roles that are available, give me wisdom on how to choose who for what role. And really invite the kids into that process too, because you want them to know that you are asking the Lord for help, that you're not just kind of like willy-nilly choosing stuff. You're actually really seeking the Lord on this too. All right, after you pray, now it's time to basically just work through this list. I suggest going top to bottom. The top 4 or 5 have an asterisk next to it, and that's basically roles that are currently locked. And those will be roles for just the youth core crew. The equipper lesson will normally be an adult assistant who's doing that as well. And what you'll want to do is you'll want to start with the first part, and you just go line by line all the way through. Make sure that you get everyone signed up for every week that's in that month before moving on to the next role. What you don't want to do is go like, okay, who wants to be conductor in week 1? Okay, who wants to be worship leader in week 1? Who wants to be, encourager in week 1? And then go back and now for week 2. It's just going to be way too long of a process. It's much simpler to stick with one single role and make sure that all of the weeks are completed. Now, when you're doing this, like I said, there are challenges that sometimes arise in terms of kids that really want a certain role and they're not able to do it. For example, our game captain and our craft creator, those are 2 roles that only happen once a month. And they're popular roles. Kids love to lead a game. Kids love to lead a craft. And so you're going to have to take wisdom into account here and really seek the Lord in that moment. It's going to be kind of like an on-the-spot, Holy Spirit, what are you saying? Who do you think I should choose? And making sure to choose the person that you feel led to. Are you going to do this perfectly? Probably not. There will probably be mistakes. There will probably be times where kids get their feelings hurt. It's just part of our process at this stage. Who knows? Maybe God will open up a new idea or opportunity where that isn't the case. But for right now, that's the way that we are choosing and selecting roles. You're also going to want to make sure that as you're doing this, you're getting a good balance with the kids. What you don't want is for one kid to have like 4 roles on one day out of the week or one week out of the month and then nothing for the rest of the month. Try to spread it out as much as you can so that each kid is doing 1 or 2 things on each day. I think the numbers that we have right now, it's usually about 2 kids per week. That kind of tends to be the max. Now, if there's a situation where there's a role that no one really wants to sign up for, the kid's already signed up for 2 weeks, and they're interested in taking on that role, of course, let them do it. You know, it's not a huge deal. But what we don't want is we don't want a real imbalance there. And then same thing when it comes to the number of roles that a kid has. What we don't want to do is have one kid have like 10 roles throughout the month and another only have 2. If that person that only had 2 wanted to have a lot more, we really want to be fair in trying to balance that. Now, what you'll probably find is you're going to get those who really want to choose a lot of roles, and then you'll get a handful of people that won't really want to choose a lot of roles. They'll just have 1 or 2. That's fine in that case, you know, just work with it as it comes. But if there is equal numbers of people wanting to do equal number of things, trying to get that balance right is really key. All right, so then after you've made it all the way through that list, now comes the ever important part of informing our parents. So this Google Doc, it will have a share link, and what you'll do is you will take that share link and you will actually text and email the parents for the upcoming month. This is our role schedule, and this is what your children or child has that they'll be taking on next month. This is really important to do, and I suggest trying to do it like fairly soon after the roles are created. That same day or the week following usually tends to be the best time, just to give the parents plenty of time to prepare for that. And that, like I said, that's going to be a really key factor in terms of making sure that the parents are on board with what the kids have signed up for as well. So that's it. That's our role selector. Like I said, it happens every month on the last week of the month. It tends to take normally around 15 to 20 minutes, so it ends up being a big part of the gathering. We actually remove Craft Creator and games from that time so that we can make room for that spot. But it's really a beautiful thing to see kids getting excited about participating and leading different things in the kingdom and within our ecosystem.